Hello everyone out there, I hope you are tuning in. I've had a few requests this week from people wanting to know how they can stay fit and healthy being at home given this current crisis that we're actually in right now. And what I want to commend first of all is everyone out there that is in the health and fitness world that is offering their support to everyone else in terms of providing free videos and content and just general support and information, which is absolutely awesome. It's something that we need to feel right now. We need to feel connected as a community. I truly believe, before I go into my training today, that I really want to make this note clear from my own model of the world is, the world as we know it, or the world that we've just come from. For me, I'm just seeing what's happening right now as a complete global shift. An opportunity for everyone on this planet right now to reset and re-engineer what they want to bring into the new world after the COVID-19 is all said and done. And what I'm going to go through today is going to help you with that. What I'm going to go through today is something that I have been teaching my clients for the last 10 years. So I'm going to take a complete extract out of my mind, body, food breakthrough experience. It's the first 5 core elements that I teach my clients in their coaching to help retrain, reset their default system. So what this default system is, it's a default that we all have inside of us. So under times of stress, or when shit hits the fan in our lives, or what's going on in the world right now, we revert to this. It's an automatic response of survival. And for some people, it works really well, and what their default system is serving them. And for other people, it's not. It's actually inducing anxiety and fear and what have you. So one of the things that I am so grateful for right now in working with my clients and knowing what I know right now is despite what's going on in society, we are all calm and collected because we understand that there is more to health and wellness and being fit than just eating great food, following a structure and moving, whether that be outdoors, indoors, in a gym, exercising, whatever it is that you might be doing. There are 3 other core elements that are involved around that, and I'm going to share them with you today. So in my body breakthrough experience, the first thing that I set my clients up on, and what I'm going to share with you right now, is basically what is mind fitness. Mind fitness is broken down into 3 elements: mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, there are a lot of different terms and definitions that people give of what that is. However, for me, and the way that I define it, and by all means, you don't have to buy into this at all, it is having all the behavioral strategies that we need on a mental, emotional, and a spiritual level that will allow us to retrain, reset, and re-engineer any situation that we're currently in at the moment that may not be serving us or might be causing some resistance in our lives. So once you have those right tools, those right assets, you can actually obviously not just sink into those emotions, but you can move beyond and above that, elevating your wisdom, elevating your energy, vibrating on a higher level. And that might all sound a bit woo-woo, but that all has an impact on our health. So I'm going to get straight into it. The 5 elements of health. Number 1, physical. This is one that we're all accustomed to. Like I said, I am going to get into those 3 special elements, mental, emotional, and spiritual, shortly. But I just want to bring up the obvious ones so far. Okay, we've got physical. Physical health. What is physical health? Well, let's reverse it for a minute. What's physical stress? Physical stress is when you're not getting through your day, doing all the things that you want to do that's on your checklist with the energy and vitality and the stamina and the endurance that you want. It's as simple as that. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a full-time mom, whether you're a full-time worker, whatever it might be. So how do we overcome this? How do we slow down? How do we become aware of this? How do we reset our physical health? Well, honestly, in this situation, there are two things that you can do: rest and eat. Okay? It's one of the two times in your life that you can actually eat your way to health. Okay? When your body is physically stressed is one of them. So how do we do that? Okay? Well, what you've got to do first and foremost is look at what you are eating on a day-by-day basis. Number one. Number two, look at your energy expenditure for that day. Okay? Is my life, not just look at the physical expenditure, look at the mental expenditure as well with what you're doing. You might be sitting on your backside all day, but your mind might be going like Joe Buggery. That requires fuel and nutrients, not just macronutrients, micronutrients as well. So, to move to a higher level of physical health, so you have the stamina, the endurance, and everything that you need to get done, you need to make sure that you're eating properly, okay? And that's good, wholesome foods that don't piss your body off. Now, one of the first things that I get all of my clients to do, or the advice I give to anyone that asks me, is make sure you're removing those inflammatory foods. What are those inflammatory foods? Let me tell you what they are. Alcohol, caffeine, refined sugar, gluten, yeast, wheat, and dairy, pretty much. So I'm like, just for a whole month, or if you can make a lifestyle change where you are absolutely, definitely eliminating some of those foods permanently from your lifestyle, you're going to have better absorption, you're going to have better energy, better stamina, a clearer mind, and you're going to be able to physically exert everything that you want to achieve on a day-by-day basis. The other side is rest. Now, I'm not just talking sitting down, playing on your phone, watching TV. I am talking about sleep. And as a nation, as a whole, we are so incredibly deprived from sleep. We've even forgotten how to sleep. We're so wired all the time. Now, this is not a conversation that I'm going to go into right now about all the things that you need to do to improve your quality of sleep. You can just Google that if you want to. But it is an essential element for physical health. Now, I've got my little my little cat there. This is Lucky. Anyway, we'll just leave Lucky there for now. So, step one, or element number one, is physical health. Okay, so for a lot of you, there's a lot of information out there. You might already be doing some of these things. You might have improved your quality of food and getting the right amount of food into your body. And you also might have improved or looking at improving the quality of sleep. Okay, so that's element number one. I do go through this in a lot more detail in my Mind Body Breakthrough experience. Number two. Okay, now if you can't read that, it says nutritional and hormonal, okay? So, element number one is your physical. Element number two is nutritional and hormonal health, okay? A big part of the greater picture as well. Now, when I talk about nutritional health, what am I referring to here? What am I actually getting into? Is your body absorbing the right food? You might be eating the right food, but is it actually getting into your system? So what I'm really, really crunching down on here is, what is your gut health like? Okay? If your gut health is number one, if it's purring like a kitty cat, like this one right here, or humming like a Ferrari, then I tell you what, you're going to have the best absorption money can buy, okay? And the other factor is, are you putting quality ingredients into that body so it can actually work in a way that allows the body to function at an optimal level, so every system in the body can work optimally? Okay, so we're talking from digestion to your endocrine, hormonal function, respiratory, lymphatic system, musculoskeletal, like you name it, nervous system, the whole works. So you need to be getting the right foods and the right quality of foods, the best that you can actually do with what you've got into this body. You need to make sure that gut health is number one. Hormonal health. Okay. So what hormones am I talking about here? Well, once again, it's not a conversation for about all the different types of things you need to do to balance out all your different types of hormones. Those topics will come over the next few weeks. But we're looking at your estrogen levels, we're looking at your insulin levels, we're looking at your cortisol and adrenaline levels, your DHEA, your cholesterol levels. Okay, we're looking at your thyroid function. Yeah, we're looking at your microbiome. We're looking at your HCl and how much acid you're producing in your digestive tract to be able to break down the food so they can be absorbed into the body. Okay, we're looking at basically how your liver is working as well, and all the hormones that are responsible for helping to break down the fats in your body. Okay, because if that's not working, if they're not balanced, if they all have their unique blueprint, then they're going to be out of whack. Okay, and if they're out of whack, then the next three elements are also going to be out of whack as well. Okay, so element number one is your physical. Element number two is your nutritional and hormonal. When I'm working with my clients, we all have a naturopathic assessment that is done. We do a metabolic questionnaire, we do a hormonal questionnaire, and we also get full bloods done so I can actually work out and see where your markers are at, and if we need any supplementation or any specific tweaking of your nutrition to get that right on point. Okay, so that's number two. Now, we get into the good stuff. Number three. Okay. Number three, your mental health. It's part one of Mind Fitness. Once again, let's go back to the opposite of mental health. What is mental stress? What is it? Mental stress is when you're finding yourself up here, overwhelmed with the responsibilities, the self-talk that is going on in your life, the T's that you haven't crossed and the I's that you haven't dotted, the checklist that you're not getting through each day, the questions that remain consistently unanswered in your mind continuously. It's like a rat on one of those little hamsters on one of those little wheels, or rat on one of those little wheels that keep going round. And as a result of that, it causes a deregulation in your brain function and your chemistry, inducing more cortisol and hormone to come into the body. So if you can think of it like this, what happens is your nervous system starts to decay. Okay, think of like anyone here in Melbourne, or I'm sure there's some people that are watching this that are from Melbourne. We have something called the Burnley Tunnel, okay? Or just think of like the M2 in Sydney, for example. You have these tunnels, right? And these tunnels are they've continuously got workers working on them to make sure that there's no potholes and there's no, cracks in the tunnel so the water doesn't come through. Well, imagine if there was no servicing of those tunnels, of those highways, of those freeways. Well, that's basically what happens to our mental health, or when we're in a mentally stressed state up here. The messages get distorted. The nervous system starts to decay. Potholes and cracks start to occur in that nervous system. And then our body turns to shit, basically, from that. So in my mind-body breakthrough experience, we go through a process called emotional and physical commitment, and teaching individuals how to delegate, delete, and deal with things that are and aren't important, so you can process them in a way that is calm and collected and allows you still to deliver the outcome that you want. Okay, so that's what mental stress is. Mental health is making a list of making a list of the things that need to be dealt with in your life, delegated in your life, and or deleted. Okay, so one of these activities, I simply get my clients to go, okay, write a list of all the things in your life right now that you're emotionally committed to. That means you think about it, you talk about it, you Google it, you talk some more about it, you might dream about it, you might wake up and think about it again while you're having a cup of coffee, but you don't actually do anything about it. Then on the flip side, all the things in your life that you're physically committed to, and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Right? And it could be like, I'm in this job that I really hate, but I'm just doing it because like I need the wage or something like that. You know, I love a clean house, but I hate house clean, but I will do it. I'm physically committed to it. They're just a couple of examples. I'm in this relationship. Why am I in this relationship when I'm not happy, when it's causing stress? I'm like physically committed, like I'm physically here. It looks like I'm in it, but I'm not emotionally in it. So make a list of all those things, yeah? Then there's the third list. That third list is all the things that you are physically committed to and emotionally committed to in your life. For example, loved ones. For example, your work, your health and fitness. In order to be successful in life, and this is what really helps with your mental health, you need to be working in accordance with things that you're both going to choose to make a decision on to be both emotionally and physically committed to. So now you've got these three lists, and you know that the list that you're emotionally and physically committed to, you're going to do that. You're going to put your energy into that. But now you've got these two other lists. You've got to work out what you're going to do here. Delegate, delete, and deal. So I get my clients to go through these lists, and I'm like, I want you to put a delegate, a delete, and deal next to everything that's relevant for you. And I want you to think of it as an ideal situation, okay? In the ideal situation, in, you know, your happy place, in if you won the lottery place, okay? Not in your reality right now. And the reason why I get people to do this is our brains don't register what is real and what is an illusion. The only thing that does is how we process that information that is going through our minds right now emotionally, which will come up to step 4. So I'll get into that in a minute. Once they've done that list, okay, I'm like, great. You've got the list of everything that you're going to deal with in your life. You got the list of everything. Deal with, the A means confront. Why? Because when you confront it, when you deal with it, it frees up energy. It gives you vitality. It gives you stamina. You're allowed to sleep better at night. It upregulates every metabolic function in your body. And I have seen this time and time again with my clients where I have not changed their diets. I have not changed their programs, but we've just changed how you process information so that you can then free up some energy and allow yourself to live with more vitality, calmness, and happiness in your life, and therefore allowing your body to return to a state where it's in parasympathetic, not constantly in sympathetic, okay? So you're dealing with the things that you need to deal with in your life. You're deleting the things that are of no importance to you. And I say to my clients, I want you to do this little ritual, right? I want you to write all the things you're going to delete and go out to your backyard and light it and burn it and then bury it. I've had clients write it down on a bit of toilet paper and flush it down the toilet. Now for everyone, right now that's probably not a good thing considering Dunny Loo and toilet paper is like liquid gold at the moment. But yeah, you want to delete that and let it go and let it slide and let go of it. Because when you let go of something, when you delete something, when you finish something, what does it do? Frees up more space. And when you have more space, what can you do? More things that you want to do that you're emotionally and physically committed to in your life, okay? And the third thing, delegate. Delegating what is important, but you just don't want to do. And that could be the bookwork. That might mean, you know what, you can afford to get a cleaner in the house once every 3 weeks just to give you a couple of hours of downtime so you don't have to do it. And then that downtime you can spend with your kids. You can spend going to get a massage or a coffee or doing something that brings you pleasure. Yes, you're allowed to experience pleasure in life, okay? It is a human necessity, okay? So that's how I help my clients work through their mental health to improve the quality of vitality and energy that they have and to help reset their language and the way that they process information linguistically. Okay, so we got that down. That's step number 3. Now, where's my pen? Here it is. Okay, so step number 4. Why am I lucky it's still lying on the table here? Step number 4. Emotional. Okay, emotional health. This is a big one. Really, really big. Grossly underestimated. So we've talked about our physical health, we've talked about our hormonal and nutritional health, all in little detail, not a whole heap of detail. I'm kind of skimming through it. Put a bit more detail into mental health now and gave you 3 tips: the delegate, delete, and deal with, and working through things that you're only emotionally and physically committed to in your life, and being really well and aware of the words that you're choosing to use on a day-by-day basis to yourself. And number 4, emotional health. Okay, so let's look at the opposite. Again, what's emotional stress? Emotional stress is when you're not processing all the necessary emotions in your life in a way that's giving you the outcome that you want. So you might be feeling a bit of a mismatch with some emotions. You might not, for example, like fear, like pain, like hurt, but you're so accustomed to it that you've become addicted to it. And then when you go to experience bliss and love and joy and happiness, you're like, oh, I can't deal with this. It's not going to last long. And you self-sabotage. There are 2 types of emotional stress. The type of emotional stress where you get so caught up in that emotion that you can't come up for air and you feel almost suffocated by that emotion. And then you have the other side where you're completely detached and disassociated with that emotion because it's an easier coping mechanism when you don't have to worry about your emotional health. Now, our mental health is ruled in our heads, but our emotional health is ruled in our bodies. It is the feminine part, or the left-hand side of the brain, part of who we are. Okay, you don't feel in your head, you feel in your body. So we've got 80% of our body's emotions and receptors stored in our belly, and the other 20% are throughout the body. Most people go through life disembodied in today's society. What do I mean by disembodied? It means like you're literally beside yourself. You're so disconnected from your feelings and from your body, or you're so stuck in them that you're finding it really hard to make decisions, logical, rational decisions that are best for you, because you don't know how to experience each emotion. So one of the things that I do with my clients, I'm just going to give you maybe a couple of tips today, is to help improve your emotional health. Okay, the first thing you need to start getting comfortable with is just sitting in your emotions. And I like to call this marinating. Okay, so you just sit in your emotions and you marinate them when they become present to you. That is pain, fear, guilt, hurt, anxiety. It's a form of release from the body. Okay, interestingly enough, a lot of the clients that I have worked with, not all, but a lot of the clients I have worked with are what I call disembodied or disconnected from their bodies. They don't know what their body is giving them. So when they're bloated, they don't know where that's coming from. When they're watery, they don't know what's happening there. They are disconnected from the sense, from being able to break down the meaning of those emotions and of the sensations that are associated with that. Okay, that means they're constantly in the conscious, they're constantly in their head, not in their bodies. So part of this process is getting you to really embody and really sink into your emotions. You don't need to take action on it, you just need to get used to feeling the feelings of pain, fear, guilt, hurt, anxiety, uncertainty, but also love, excitement, anticipation, euphoria, bliss, pleasure, all those emotions as well. That is the communication of our body. It's how our body communicates. And if there is a mismatch and it is unhealthy and you know that you're not processing your emotions well, it's going to cause stress in the body. And that might look like your body not being able to fall asleep, weight resistance or extreme weight loss, food intolerances, being watery all the time, getting sick. It's your body giving you messages to let you know, to say, hey, Wake up, pay attention, I'm a bit pissed off, or I'm really happy right now. And it's about acknowledging that language, acknowledging what your body's actually giving you. The other tip that I give my clients when it comes to emotional management is something I call noting, okay? So noting is when an emotion will come in, generally with a statement, okay? And it triggers a response, okay? And that response, it's not necessarily about you pushing that response away and pushing that emotion away. It's about you recognizing it and noting it and letting the body know, I felt that, I heard that, thank you, and then going back to what you were doing. Just because you experience emotions, just because you don't experience emotions, it doesn't mean that you need to action them, okay? So if you're someone that's right in it and you can't get out of it and you're just finding that you're drowning in emotions, you don't need to take action when you're in that state. In fact, you shouldn't take action when you're in that state. When you're in that state, it's more about just slowly but surely getting comfortable sitting in those emotions and letting it pass, because what is happening is your body is releasing energy. It is releasing those emotions. If you keep suppressed emotions inside of you, like pain, fear, guilt, hurt, anxiety, and all those yucky negative emotions, but still all serve a purpose and are necessary, and we don't have a way of expressing that, it can cause disease and cancers and sicknesses and illnesses in your body. Same way it does if you're disassociated, the same thing can happen, because then you're not doing what's best for your body and you're not working on the highest level of integrity and values for your body. It's the complete and ultimate form of disrespect, okay? So I hope those two have helped you. It's marinating, sinking into the emotions, sitting in it, letting it pass, and noting. Okay, last one. Number 5, spiritual. Spiritual health. Might sound a bit woo-woo. What do you think about when I say spiritual? Are you thinking a religion? Are you thinking crystal balls? Are you thinking of psychics or tarot readings or what have you? I'm referring to spiritual health as your core values, who you are and what you stand for. And this is a massive part of it all, because your spiritual health right here is the CEO, is the energy system that runs your entire ecosystem, your entire universe. If it doesn't know what it stands for, if it doesn't know what its core values are and what causes her to be at her best, then every other department in your body, in your physical, mental, emotional, nutritional being is going to make up its own postcode. And there's going to be constant internal conflict all the time. So, like I said, in our Mind Body Breakthrough program, one of the things that I go through with my clients is how to identify their core values. I was actually going to go through it with you. I'm just thinking about whether I should. You know what? Bugger it, I will. Okay, so how do you identify your core values? How do you identify who you are and what you stand for? And what do you do with it then? Well, I'm just going to give you 3 tips right now, or 3 steps that I take my clients through. Step number 1, I want you to write this question down. Where do you spend most of your time and your money? And if you had more of it, what would you do? I want you to write a list until you empty out, okay? Step number 2, who are the most important people, places, and or things in your life? And I want you to get real specific here, not just write family. I want you to write like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your kids, okay? Their names, your dog, your goldfish, you know, the gym, your car, your home. Get specific, really crunch down. Now, you've got these 2 questions. I want them both on separate bits of paper, okay? And I want you to create a column on each side. Next to that column, on both of those pages, you're going to write 2 more questions. Well, it's actually 1 question, but you're going to write it twice. It is, What do each one of these things that I've just written down represent? And we're looking for emotional-based answers. So, for example, family. What does family represent? Unconditional love, joy, happiness. What does, let's have a look at this, business represent? Well, business represents empowerment and stability. Now, for me, business does represent empowerment and stability. Now, the stability I'm talking about is how resourceful I am when shit hits the fan in my life, when shit hits the fan in society. If I was to lose everything in my life, could I rebuild myself back up again? What is my inner strength like? That's what stability means for me. Can I trust myself? Can I follow through on myself? It's not about how many dollars I've got in my bank account, okay? All right, so that's what I mean by step number 2. So you go through that list, you go through list 1, who are the most important people, places and things in my life, where do I spend most of my time and my money, and if I had more of it, what would I do? And you're gonna have all these little representational things like love, peace, joy, happiness, empowerment, stability, adventure, freedom, all those words. I'm gonna tell you what I want you to do with those words. I want you to take those words, I want you to write them on another bit of paper. And I want you to put them in the order of most importance for you. Okay? The most importance for you. Now, what is most important? It is the thing that stands out the most that you feel you can't give yourself. So when I was going through this process, first of all, my 5 core values is unconditional love, happiness, peace and tranquility, energy and vitality, empowerment and stability. Okay, now when I was going through this process, the thing that stood out the most and instantly was empowerment and stability, because I do it so easy. It's just in me. It's already there and I've tuned it really well. So I initially had that as number 1. But you know what? One of the things that many years ago when I did this, that I was craving was just unconditional love. And I felt like I couldn't give it to myself. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't nice enough, or had, the job that I wanted, or the car that I wanted, or the amount of money in my bank account was always dictated by comparison. So I then go, you know what? That has to become a highest level of priority, because what would happen if I had unconditional love of self? And I sat there and I thought, and I felt this real warm, fuzzy feeling that almost felt really uncomfortable inside of me, but I'm like, that is what it's going to give me. And what would that do? How do I describe that? How do I define that? And for me, it was acceptance without judgment. And what would that allow me to do, be, create, have, and give? Both to myself and others, and it was like endless. It was like a ripple effect on the rest of the values. So you've got to start with the thing that you're not giving yourself the most of, and then work from there down. Now that's all I'm going to give you in terms of how to identify your core values. If you want to know more about how to identify your core values, send me a DM. We can have a chat about it, and I can actually show you one-on-one how to do it for yourself. Okay, so I hope that has helped everyone understand a little bit about part of what I do here in my Mind Body Breakthrough programs. But more importantly, I wanted to share this information with you because what we're going through right now is a complete global shift. The way and the strategies that a lot of us are utilizing are minimal, to say the least. We need to start broadening our horizons, broadening our minds, and start looking at things not just with what we see and what we have and what's materialized and not materialized, but what we feel and energy and what's important for us moving forward, because this global shift is going to send us into a new world. And how do you want to enter that new world? Okay, how balanced are you in your health when it comes to your physical, nutritional, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual? Apart from that, everyone, have an absolutely awesome Saturday. I hope that has helped you once again. Please feel free to reach out to me over these times. I know it's hard for a lot of you, and I just want to share my wisdom and my insight with everyone that's out there and help where I can. So it's your call. If you want to chat, send me an inbox.